Hello, 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 and welcome to ER Emotional Response. This is Life Coaching with Ink Ivory. How are you doing? I'm always excited to join you on the station, mainly because of the growth that will follow. Growth not just for me, but for you. Growth in your becoming a better person and a better person in your relationships, whether it's friendship, a loving relationship, parental relationship, however the relationship is labeled, you become a better person. And I'm excited. This week we are covering the series on emotions and sex and how people distort their sexual connection with other people and they mislabel things. Life is all about what you can handle. In certain things, it is okay to say you can't handle. We live in a world now where impressions is very big, and so people are impressed by how many people they can talk to at one time, how many people they can deal with at one time, how many things they can go through at one time. However, in your race to impress others, you have to make sure you don't lose yourself. You don't lose who you are, what you are about, and what you really want out of life. Emotions and sex. When not properly processed, both emotions and sex, obsessions can develop, possessions can develop, and people can go through an emotional frenzy. Emotional frenzy is a place where you just lose control. You lose control and it becomes a frenzy. Your emotions become a frenzy because in the process of you losing control, you're trying to gain control. And it's almost like you're looking at a picture that's being shooken up and also being straightened out at the same time. And you want to try to avoid those times in life because you can become very reactive. And we see it on the news all the time. An emotional frenzy. People not responding very well to what's going on before them. And then trying to hold it all together and finding a solution in between both states. It's crazy. Crazy because the in-between state diffuses consequences. It makes the individual stop thinking about the consequences thereof. And when we talk about sex and becoming intimate with someone, regardless how people dive into this topic and say it's different, sex is multi-layered. When you lay down with someone, you lay down with them physically and soulish. You enter the realm of their soul and who they are and what they do. And you can be very observant if someone is battling with depression and you're intimate with them on a regular basis. It'll end up becoming your thoughts, and you don't know where these thoughts is coming from. People like to categorize and say, oh, sex is just sex. But I advise you to look at it in a very, very different way. Sex is so beyond physical that when you lay down with someone, a part of you is exchanged with that person. And you feel so connected that you feel like it can't stop. And some people label that as soul ties. Sex is powerful. You have to be careful. Like I said in part 1, if you're running through partners, whether you're a guy or a girl, it comes a point where you look yourself in the mirror and you can't recognize who you are, who your true essence is, because you have so many people you done laid down with and got up with, laid down with and got up with, and so many exchanges have occurred to the point that you look in the mirror and you're a bowl of issues. And then people drown it out with alcohol or drugs or making their life so busy that they don't see what's going on. But you have to slow down. It could be many reasons why you jump from person to person without any breaks. For the female, she never had a relationship with her father. And because she never had a relationship with her father, she's perverted that desire to be connected to a man. And so she lays down with any and everybody to be connected to. And in her mindset, she's just getting her needs met. But in reality, she's wasting away her soul. Because so many people are running in and out, in and out, in and out, that she pulls away from the real need, which is she wants a normal, healthy relationship with a male. But because that initial relationship when she came out at birth wasn't there, she looks at men differently. And this could happen for men too. Emotions and sex. It's a very deep topic that people try to separate. Can you lay down with someone and not have emotions for them? Sure. Can it affect you emotionally? Sure. You cannot care for the person, lay down with them, and still get up and have different emotions from that experience. And you have to manage them emotions before it becomes chaotic. Because sometimes obsessions can be formed where you don't know why you're going after this person. You don't really like them personality-wise. But you're obsessed with the sexual connection. And you find it becoming your all-encompassing reason why you exist. And so you're craving the next time and the next time and the next time. And addictions can come out of this. Or if it's not an obsession for one person, you could develop an addiction from the orgasmic feeling. The climactic feeling that you get out of sex. You could just come hell or high water, you're connecting with someone just so you could get that feeling. And then it becomes your controlling reason why you exist. That's a priority. That's a number one priority. But when it rolls into an addiction, it's just like anything, whether it's drugs or alcohol. You disregard everything else to make sure that need is met, and that's when it becomes dangerous. You disregard any and everything else just to make sure that need is met. That's when it becomes an addiction. And another part that can roll out of sex is possession. Looking at that person as your property and your property alone. You have to, under all feelings of anger, deal with the hurt underneath. So if there's a level of betrayal and you're hurt, you don't let that roll into anger and then start breaking windows and slashing tires and doing damaging things, because just like that property, that person is not your possession. Yes, you had an experience with that person. Even if it was on a committed level, you can't become so reactive that you forget the consequences. People get locked up that way. People lose loved ones that way. People never see their kids that way. And I feel like this topic needs to be talked about a lot more, because it's showing through the world. We had a guy in another state, I want to say Illinois, and he was attracted to this woman. And he was attracted to her so much so he tried to talk to her. She turned him down. He became fixated on the idea of being with her to the point that he tried to force it, and he killed her. You have to be able to manage your emotions. A positive that emotion that can come out of sex is lust. The adrenaline rush of lust.